Hey travelers, welcome back to another review. This is Chris and today we're gonna look at two lounges. The Japan Airlines Sakura Lounge, which is kind of their business class lounge, and also their first class lounge in the same building. So you can see it here already, and we're in Frankfurt. At the Frankfurt airport you have two options. Either to the right there's the first class and then to the left there's the business class lounge. Now, I recently reviewed the Tokyo Narita Airport Japan First Class Lounge, and to be honest, I was not as impressed. So I also had not too many big expectations for this one, and you can see it already here on the website of the lounge in Frankfurt that this is a bit more of a normal small lounge. After all, it's not their main hub, of course, so you would not expect too much from it. But keep in mind that this is, I believe, the only One World lounge that the Frankfurt airport has, so they actually need to be able to accommodate a couple more customers. Now, generally, to get into the lounge, as you can see it here, you have to have a high status with Japan Airlines, or of course, if you're flying first class or business class respectively, or I think more common, looking at the passengers, if you have a One World status of Emerald or Sapphire. You can also see that the lounge in terms of location is quite well located, so I was kind of looking forward to seeing how this would go. So let's go inside and let's see if this lounge can hold up or whether this is gonna be kind of a disappointment. So here we are. This is the first class section of the Japan Airlines lounge, coming with lockers, and then this is the actual lounge. So first up, what you see is a lot of brown colors, a lot of wooden tones, also a bit of a view, although not towards the runway, but rather towards the backside of the airport, towards the street. This is actually the entire lounge, what you see here. So we're looking at, I don't know, roughly 50 seats. It looks a bit old school and not as modern. I guess this is a bit more traditional style. I don't mind it, although with the many seats it doesn't look very exclusive and it also does not look super comfortable, but no matter that. You see that I'm also the only passenger, and I think there's not a lot of passengers maybe with a One World Emerald status around Frankfurt, but nevertheless, this is quite a good place if you want to do some work. You can see it here, you have power plugs for days. I do like these small decoration pieces with these flowers in these kind of glass casings. Overall, it's fine. Let's say it like that. It is fine in terms of the setting. I personally would not have minded it to be a bit more modern. You can see here there's also a small kind of meeting room, I guess, or seating room that was kind of blocked, so you're not supposed to go there. Yeah, it's very brown, let's say it like that. But more importantly, of course, when we're talking about a first class lounge or any lounge, is the food and the beverage selection. And here, in terms of selection, from the spirits themselves, this is quite standard, I would say. The tea looked very nice, I have to say, but, and this is for me always a good way to judge it, the spirits are quite standard, with the, I guess, the Grey Goose vodka being the fanciest of the options. You also get a Prosecco, no champagne unfortunately, as well as this German white wine. Overall this is fine, but I wish they would have had also champagne in the first class lounge. Besides that, you can see here the food option, and maybe pause if you want to go into detail. It's a bit of a mix between German and Japanese cuisine together with some fresh fruits. I actually tried the potato salad and sausages. This is a very traditionally German dish, which, to be honest, was quite good. Nothing fancy, but I was craving some German food before flying back to Japan. Now, given that the business class lounge is actually right next to it, I also wanted to compare it to that. So the so-called Sakura Lounge, this is actually what you can see here. And first off, it's a lot brighter, which I actually like. It looks a lot more modern. It is also a lot bigger, of course, as you would expect. But I have to say I like the vibe of this lounge a lot more. It's a lot more spacious. I just felt like it was more lively. Of course, that is also because I was the only person, I guess, in the first class lounge, while here it was a lot busier, unsurprisingly. But to me, the main difference was that it just felt a lot cozier to actually sit around and kind of watch people go about their holidays, I guess. In terms of Wi-Fi, of course, you have that in both of the lounges, and I think what's more surprising and why the first class lounge was rather disappointing is that in terms of food and beverages, actually it's completely identical, meaning that for all of the drinks, including the sparkling wine, including the spirits, as well as the food, it was completely identical, which begs the question why anyone should go to the first class lounge or what the additional value is there besides having, I guess, some more space to yourself. So when I actually saw that going to the business class lounge and seeing that it was completely identical, it felt a bit weird to me at least. It felt like that should not be. And to be honest, that's not to give shade on the business class lounge. I think that's a perfectly fine one, and I actually stayed there more because I enjoyed the space more. The first class lounge itself is the one that you can actually skip if you want, because there's nothing there that actually stands out. A lot of brown, traditional, kind of old furniture. Overall, if you have the time, you can of course visit both, and if you have the access, but ultimately I was quite disappointed by the first class lounge. You will not miss out if you go just to the business class lounge, which is a pretty decent one for it not being the hub of Japan Airlines. So that's it from my side. Again, just a quick lounge review, and I'll talk to you in the next one. So cheers.